Vancouver's housing landscape is changing fast, and you might start noticing something new popping up in your streets: multiplexes. Let's picture your quiet block, and suddenly a building goes up with four, six, or even eight homes where one single family house used to sit. That's not some future plan, it's happening right now. Multiplexes are small scale, multi unit homes on what used to be a single family lot. And they're transforming how we might be living in the future, how we invest, and how Vancouver grows. So today, I'm breaking down what multiplexes actually are, who can build them, how many units can you build, what's happening in the market, the real challenges that builders are facing today, pricing, the neighborhood impact, and what this means for Vancouver's future. Guys, I'm Ryan McMillan, a local realtor here in Vancouver. If you like what you've been watching and you're hanging out, make sure you go down and subscribe to the channel. All helps out the channel. Share the videos, like the videos, helps me keep bringing you this content that I love and love bringing you guys, and um, love hearing from you guys as well. So let's dive right in. So, a multiplex essentially is 2 to 6 units built on a single family lot. Think townhouse energy, but smaller, faster, and simpler to build. This all started with the Bill 44 that was passed a couple of years ago, which forced every municipality in BC to update their zoning. Now, most of the province now has complied. We're focusing on here in Vancouver. Multiplexes are allowed in all former RS zones. Single family areas can now have duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes, and up to sixplexes, depending on the lot size. So, typical unit sizes, you're looking around 650 to 1,000 square feet. And the first wave of these homes is finally hitting the market. But before you can build one, your lot's got to qualify. So let's talk about if you own a single family lot or you're planning to buy one and you're thinking about multiplex. So not every lot currently is eligible. Here's the non-negotiable. So your property must be at least 33 feet wide, can't be on a floodplain, has to have a rear lane, and it can't be designated as a heritage building here in Vancouver. If you check all four boxes, you're in the game. You're missing one. Currently, right now, you're out. So let's look at the number of units. Now that depends on your lot size, whether the units will be strata or secured rental. Here's a little bit of a cheat sheet for you guys. 33 wide by 100, you can do up to 4 units. 50 wide by 100, up to 5, and 50 by 120 deep, up to 8. Up to 8 units. That's if they're all rentals, but you can do 6 units. So right now, Vancouver has about 16 completed multiplexes, and they're all sold. The first permits went out in late 2024, about, and earlier this year. And since construction, they take about 9 to 12 months. We're just seeing first completions now. Behind the scenes, currently right now, 455 permit applications in the pipeline. Builders are moving this direction because multiplexes are cheaper to build than townhouses right now, faster to complete, they're wood frame, and they don't need underground parking. So the people building them fall into 3 groups. The third one's a little interesting, might interest you guys a little bit. So obviously developers buying and redeveloping, citizen developers, usually people who are mortgage-free homeowners. And then there's the co-development side of things. So partnerships sharing profits and risk with a builder, right? So, but even though the zoning's unlocked, the real world challenges are much more complicated right now. So the real challenges builders are facing currently, so Vancouver's multiplex push sounds great. Sounds great on paper. But the reality right now, the uptake's slower than expected, right? So builders say it all comes down to one thing. Multiplexes, even though they might be cheaper to build than townhouses, like I just mentioned, they are expensive to build in Vancouver. So construction costs currently right now, they're very, very high. So builders have been quoting anywhere from 650 to 900 per square all in. And Vancouver's building bylaws, some of the most strictest than any other city, making projects 10, even 15% more expensive. So that means multiplex projects can easily range from $4 to $8 million, depending on how many units you're building, right? So for many homeowners, simply out of reach, right? Not even going to get into it. And also, number 2, financing hard to secure. there's been banks like Van City, Prospera stepping up. Banks are still hesitant when a homeowner needs millions to make a project work. It's just such in the infancy here, right? Most lenders are going to cover 75% of the cost. Rest needs to be paid by the homeowner. Most people are asset rich, cash poor. They own a $2 million house, but they don't have 800K cash to contribute to it, right? Then you got your labor, tariffs, carrying costs added in, labor shortages, new tariffs on materials, right? Everyone knows about tariffs this whole year. You got rising borrowing costs, rising carrying costs, and the numbers they start to fall apart for some people, right? Or a lot of people. So every month of delay, it's equaling more money burned, right? There's no standardized building ecosystem. The province streamlined the zoning. No rezoning needed. There's no public hearings. They're faster permits, but the actual industry isn't there yet. So multiplexes right now, they're being built by a lot of boutique builders, one off at a time, right? There's no mass production, no standardized plans, no economics of scale really right now. So every project is pretty much custom. And custom projects, they end up costing more. In Vancouver, land pricing just doesn't match the density. So even though there's 67,000 lots in Vancouver that were unlocked, land values didn't change. So lots are still priced based on single family exclusivity, not their new multi-unit potential. So builders say that to make the economics work, Vancouver would need to allow even more density. So the land costs still currently a major barrier. Rules, they're still differing across different municipalities. That's why we're focusing on Van, but every municipality has its differences, right? Whether it's setbacks, parking rules, density allowances, right? Vancouver's one of the stricter ones. So it just adds a little more complexity. And again, it's something, everything in their infancy is going to take time to work out the kinks. But right now, bottom line, multiplexes are a huge opportunity for the missing middle housing. But the path forward is still slow, expensive, and it's still full of friction. But let's talk about how they're sold, okay? Buyers always ask this: how do you actually buy one of these, right? When they're going to start hitting the market, so how do I get in one of these? Most multiplex units are sold as a strata, basically like a townhouse or a condo. So you're going to own one individually, just like any other strata. So, there could be some strata fees involved, a small strata council. It just depends on the size of the complex. But there's fewer shared amenities like a townhome. Ownership also is flexible, right? So, if you were to say live in one, rent out the others, you can sell them individually, set up multi-generational living. You got lots of options. And that's if you're saying an owner, you're able to build one of these projects, you have flexibility for yourself. This is what people care about the most. So multiplex units are usually cheaper than townhouses. Okay. A typical fourplex unit, again, we are unsure, but right now on paper, we're talking about cheaper than a townhouse. So, so the savings people are looking at, they're going to come from the smaller unit sizes, because these units are generally going to be smaller than a townhouse. You're missing middle. You don't have the underground parkade. So again, there's going to be some cost savings there potentially, right? Again, we're such in the infancy stages here, but that is where we're supposed to be headed, to get people able to get in some of these neighborhoods that maybe can't afford even the townhome level, because people think that, it's great that people think that townhouse is the missing middle, but the price points have gotten so high, it's not really that middle anymore. So that's where the multiplex now is starting to take over and say, here is going to be the real missing middle. So again, we're talking about buyers a little bit here. I think they're great for first-time buyers, because I think this allows a first-time buyer to not have to get into a condo, but they can get into a real cool character neighborhood that they like and enjoy. And if they can get in that missing middle price point, you might be able to now have a turnkey unit, a minimal of 2 bedrooms, and, a feeling of not in a big strata development where you have even a low-rise building has 50, 60 units with hallways, etc. And you just want to be able to walk out your door, and sort of almost like a townhouse, but again at a cheaper price point. So I think it's great for first-time buyers. I think it's great for downsizers. Man, people that own a detached home, maybe they're getting older. They don't want the yard work and the maintenance of a house, but they want to stay in that exact neighborhood. This could be perfect for downsizers. And again, investors, someone who's buying maybe an entire multiplex, and we can build this and start selling them off individually. And all again, multi-gen families, a great situation as well, where you can have multi-generational. You each can get a unit, and it serves a purpose, right? You can all be there with different generations. You have your older generation, you have a family, maybe that family has a young child, you have that extra care. Everything's right there, but each family is able to own a piece of something here in Vancouver. So let's look at the neighborhood perspective. Look, guys, not everyone is thrilled about the multiplex program. Okay. Some people absolutely love the idea. Look, there's more housing options. People scream, hey, we need density. We need more housing, better affordability with this program, and more flexible ownership. There's other people, not so much. The common concern we always hear about, more parking pressure, right? The more units you got, most people now, everyone has a car, majority. Too much density. We feel like the neighborhoods are already busy enough. We don't need the density. The biggest one I hear about is changing neighborhood character, right? And that all comes down to, I mentioned earlier, you have these boutique builders. Well, you don't really know what you're getting from builder to builder. And that's the pushback I see a lot, because you've come in these neighborhoods, there's established character neighborhoods, or beautiful neighborhoods with all these old homes, maybe some newer homes, but they fit in the neighborhoods. You can have a builder or designer that really doesn't care about that, and they just want to put something up. They want to sell these units individually, and they'll throw them up cookie cutter, and that's what people are worried about. On the other side, you can get some boutique builders that really care about the aesthetic of the neighborhoods and really try to fit that in. So I think as time goes by, if you start seeing these multiplexes take shape and really fit within these neighborhoods, I think that pushback will ease, because I think most people agree we do need the density in the housing, especially in Vancouver. But again, how are they going to come to be? So I think that's a kind of a wait and see, and sort of see if this pushback eases off. So what does this mean for Vancouver specifically? Multiplexes are one of the most significant shifts in Vancouver's housing strategy in decades. They add density without the high rises. They keep streets walkable and of a human scale. They offer new entry points for buyers, and they give homeowners more options than just sell or rebuild. So over time, multiplexes could reshape the city, making neighborhoods more flexible, more affordable, and more diverse. If the economics catch up, and if the industry standardizes, that again is a wait and see. So multiplexes, though, they're not a trend. They're a direction Vancouver is heading. No question about it. More affordability, more flexibility, more options, but also more complexity and more debate. So guys, look, listen, what do you think? Are multiplexes the future, you think, that we need in this city, or are we pushing too much density too quickly? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear them. And if you're thinking about building one or buying one, or figuring out whether your lot qualifies, I can walk you through the numbers a little bit, some of the requirements and some of the potential returns. I got some more specific requirements as well in the description. I didn't want to get too much into it in the video, but if you look down in the description, I sort of added a little more numbers if you have a lot right now and you're looking at the specifics. So again, guys, make sure you share the videos, subscribe to the channel. Again, drop your comments. I respond to every single one of them. And that's it, guys. So we'll see you guys on the next video.